So I'm Lori Andrews coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's my pleasure and honor to co-host this event tonight. And as we begin, we'll just remind everybody to mute your cameras, mute your microphones so that we can hear the speakers very clearly. And we'll begin. So tonight is all about Univera and how we are supporting men's health. It is Men's Health Month. So at Univera, of course, we don't claim to prevent or diagnose or treat or cure any illnesses or diseases. What we talk about instead is the body's innate ability to heal itself through the miracle of plants. So we want to talk, first of all, about the seesaw of damage and repair. This is the experience of cellular renewal. And throughout our lifespan, we have amazing repair capacity as young people. And then at about age 30, 35, that seesaw you're viewing tends to level out, meaning that accumulated damage starts to push up and repair capacity starts to diminish. Then as we move further into the aging process, unfortunately, it tends to tip in the opposite direction so that damage goes up, repair capacity goes down. So what Univera has done so beautifully with intelligent design and science, they've been able to discover and develop plant compounds and then patent them so that they can help push down on damage, push up on repair at the same time. The competitive advantage of Univera is unparalleled. What we're looking at tonight is tier 1 biotechnology, research, and science. And with all of these amazing characteristics and capabilities you can see here, it is truly unprecedented. There is no other company in the natural products arena that can claim to have all of these competitive advantages. So with that, I'm super excited tonight to just give you this brief overview and begin introducing my co-host this evening, Don White. So Don hails from the East Coast, and as you can see, he has an incredible bio here in front of you. And he is a business strategist. He is also super fit, super active. He has a huge heart. And hopefully you're going to hear a little bit more from him. I love to get to know you better on social media, Don, because we are so far apart. And especially during this time, we can't, see each other in physical presence. So what I love is following you and finding out what it is that you're doing to stay so healthy and so young. And I know Univera is a huge piece of that. So I'm going to hand the reins over to you so you can begin introducing Dr. Tom and get us going on our topics.
Great. Thanks so much, Lori, for the introductions. And it's my pleasure this evening to introduce Dr. Tom Acklin. Tom has practiced as a physician of internal medicine at George Washington University Medical Center in Washington, D.C., and in the Department of Neurology at Georgetown University Medical Center in Washington, D.C. Tom is executive director of the Mentis Foundation, a nonprofit bringing yoga and meditation to schools, establishing drug and alcohol rehab centers, enabling community empowerment and integration initiatives. Tom is a certified practitioner at the Center for Mind-Body Medicine, Georgetown University Center, Washington, D.C. Tom is also the founder of All Is Well Centers for Mind and Body Integration, Spiral Flight Yoga in Georgetown, and Great Falls Yoga Institute in Northern Virginia. Tom is a busy man. Tom likes to call himself the recovering neurologist. He is passionate about microbiome reconstruction and nutrition. Tom, it's my pleasure to have you with us tonight. Welcome.
Well, thanks, Don. Beautiful words. Thank you so much. From a thriving man. I honor you, brother. Everybody could use a little rehab, yeah?
Oh, ditto, Tom, yes.
This is interesting. I found Univera about 12 years ago now. They found me, luckily, and I found some new language. And this pushing up on repair that Lori was talking about, we call extra a cell renewal formula. Did you want to pop right into the slide there? It's a little bit of a misnomer because does anybody really want the same body they had yesterday? I've been growing younger now. I was in my mid 40s when I started learning some new things. And started learning about regenerative nutrition, started learning about synergist botanical extracts, started learning about how the body actually makes 300 billion cells, close to 500 billion cells every day. We also remove 500 billion cells that aren't working, right? And we're always evolving. So regenerative nutrition is all about making a body that was better than yesterday. And that's not a moral judgment. Or do you have a body that is appropriately changing for the times, right? We live in some challenging places. We breathe challenging air. We eat challenging stuff that they call food that ain't really food, right? And we have some folks around us, right? And I think violence is an interesting word because we do violence to ourselves. Some of it's intentional, right? The body, you're an athletic guy, Don. Every time we do a push-up, we're doing violence, right? There's cellular destruction. So we work in the world of synergistic regenerative nutrition. And this whole idea of renewal, powerful concept. It's really recreating a new body now appropriate for the times, right? Extra pushes up on those on the repair side of the seesaw. Fantastic synergistic menu of botanical extracts. About a dozen, maybe 16. I counted them once. They keep getting better, and I realized, things like cordyceps mushroom, for example. One of the really great assimilators, right? So we mentioned microbiome very quickly. The food that we eat has to go to use. Extra pushes up so that every single cell has its factory. It's got its DNA upregulation in the mitochondria. It's got its Krebs cycle upregulated. We got alpha-ketoglutarate in here. Extracts that people have heard of, like ginkgo and cordyceps mushroom and things like this, but you put them together in just the right blend, then all of a sudden you've got mental clarity. We need some of that. Yeah, who couldn't use that? Focus. It really is a mental health issue and managing stress. When we come down, there's that pushing down on damage. Again, it's not so much pushing down on damage, it's giving the body the energy it needs to properly attend, and the damage is gone, right? The damaged cells go away. Then there's space, and that's where the joint comfort and flexibility. We have a proprietary, we actually have a patent on a compound called protectin. It's two derivatives, acacia and scutellaria, allow the resolution of that damage, the tissue that has been attacked, yeah, and then the nutrients can get to the right place. So brand new energy. I've been drinking this for over a decade now, and I'm not going to stop. I have a pretty healthy diet, and I think that's what we can do is we can give the body the energy actually utilize, and then we work real closely with folks to change the habits that actually got them to the place where they were in trouble in the first place, right? But nonetheless, with that good diet, it's real hard to find real good food in this country. And most places in the industrialized world. We started with aloe. So there is an aloe extract in Extra, the first product we looked at, and we do aloe so well. So the right bacteria in the body, that's called the microbiome, right? That's the bugs of life, and that's the assimilators. When you chew and swallow something, those bugs need something to grow on. And one of the top prebiotic fibers. So when you hear the word prebiotic, that's like the canvas, that's the fiber mechanism on which the bacteria must grow. We have tens of thousands of species in the body of bacteria, and we're mostly bacteria, really. And aloe has been used all over the world in so many different traditions for millennia. And you'll see it as the cornerstone for so many wellness traditions. And we do it great. You pop open the leaf, that sweet spot that we always look at, it's nice and jelly, and we take it from the very best. We grow our own aloe. We manage the fields all over the world. And from that, the extracts from the aloe gel actually are some of the best prebiotic fiber in the world. So upregulating immune and antioxidant capacity, that's the ability to attend to those damaged tissues, right? All of a sudden you're putting the prebiotic fiber and you got the right bugs in your belly, and all of a sudden your digestion is good. Then people who are doing really good stuff and eating good food, making good choices, even putting vitamins and supplements in the body, a lot of it doesn't get the right traction, right? If you have good solid digestion, good solid digestive health, you're getting traction. You can absorb and assimilate that. And then all of a sudden, those nutrients that are absorbed from a healthy intestine actually make it into the bloodstream, make it to the target tissues, and then all of a sudden you've got a nice hydrated, nutrient-rich body. And And then what do you know? You're growing younger all the time. So that's a quick look at aloe. Both these products, by the way, full of what we call farm to table, farm to family. And Univera is part of a family of companies we're going to hear a bunch about. But I was so impressed when I looked at, it's hard in the natural products world sometimes to get incredibly high quality things. And you really have to do your work and figure out where it came from. And this is a company who tends pristinely to the vertical integration and knows where the product came from, handles it along the way, processes it, and actually puts it in a reliable deliverable so that when it makes it makes it into your tongue and you swallow it, it's actually reliable every single time you take it.
Great. Tom, thank you so much for that.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you.
And we talked a little bit about Sweet Spot the other day. So can you give us another minute in terms of how these products, how Aloe and Extra help Tom Acklin live life in the sweet spot?
Well, one of the things that I love the most is we really are, just like the body's always regenerating itself and always becoming better, our people are always becoming better. And as a community, we're always becoming better. And for me personally, I've had an emergence in the past decade of my ability to be with people and not just as a healer and hear what people need, but actually bring the appropriate thing. It's one thing to have, quote, the answer and do a top-down deliverable, but that's not living life in the sweet spot. Sweet spot is being in community, in collaboration, and almost everybody is looking for some better mental health, right? Better ways to handle situation, better ways to handle stress. And what if we really could? I mean, truth told, almost we don't bring 100% of ourselves. We make mistakes, right? And we do things that we regret. What if we could up that even just a tiny bit and say, you know what, maybe I'll be 10% better tomorrow. And what do you know? You get people who are empowered in the driver's seat of their own well-being, and all of a sudden they're treating each other just a little bit better. And then when there is pain, and there will be, that's the natural cycle of organic interface. That is the natural cycle of evolution. When there is some sort of challenge or conflict, then all of a sudden we're bringing our very best. So that's probably more than 60 seconds, and I could talk on that all day long, because that's the thing that fires me up the most. Is it really comes down to food is leadership. The way we treat ourselves sacredly and tenderly is a leader, is putting ourselves in the leadership capacity so we live our lives the best we can.
Well, and thank you for being a leader in our wellness community and for all you do for all of us.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you, Don. Appreciate you.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce Christopher Connolly. Christopher is a successful entrepreneur, a certified soul-centered life and business coach with over 20 years of experience. Christopher has a master's degree in psychology from the University of Santa Monica, a Univera President's Award winner, a composer and recording artist, a maker of dreams. Christopher, welcome this evening. Do we have Christopher?
Christopher, are you able to unmute yourself, or I can try? You're not. Okay, hold on. Here, let's see what we can do here.
Looks like.
Oh, you had it.
Only one person can unmute Christopher.
How's that?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Here we
Welcome,
are.
Christopher.
That's the beauty of Zoom. We all got to love that we're in a virtual business now, and we get to have these fun little things happen once in a while with Zoom. So,
Absolutely. It's part of the learning curve.
Yes.
So you've got a great quote, and I'd like to have you kick us off with your piece of this evening to talk about how this quote found you and what it means in your life.
Oh, thank you, Don. First, I really want to thank you all for having me on tonight. It's really an honor to be here, especially with the brilliant leadership that you all have and all the choices you have. So I am really touched, and I want to thank you. This quote it comes to me from my work with people on the level of growing and learning and achieving their dreams. And, it's one thing for a person to achieve their dreams all by themselves. And it's another thing for people to work together and achieve dreams that are benefit mankind in whole. And that's the one thing I love about our company, is that Bill Lee's vision is so big, so huge, that it attracted, basically a movement of people who say, I can do that. I want to be part of that. I want to be part of this. So it really is in alignment with, everything I'm doing and this company, which is why I love doing this company as well.
Great. So how has your life and work changed since you discovered regenerative nutrition?
Well, it happened about 4 years ago that I was at a university called the University of Santa Monica, where I was working in a master's degree capacity in psychology. And one of my peer members went by, and I was clutching my hands in excruciating discomfort, to say the least. And she asked me what was wrong. And I said, I can hardly write anymore. And she handed me a little package, and it was a package of product that they call Regenicare. And she gave me about 3 a day for that weekend. And by the time the weekend was over, I was going, and this was 2 years. I went, wow, I can move my hands without this discomfort. So I got on the products, the Regenicare, and literally in 5 weeks, my fingers no longer look like sausages, and I started to record again, practice and record. And now, and you talk about changing my life, I got my dream back. Now I'm releasing my 3rd album. So it gave me my dreams back.
That's powerful stuff. I have a neat couple of comments about Regenicare as well. I've been skiing all my life, and I really get a kick out of instructing kids. It's an absolute blast for me. And my knees have got many millions of miles of moguls in them, and they talk back after I've had a long day skiing. Regenicare equals comfort for my knees. I can go up and down stairs, and I'm fine. Without Regenicare, I know it. If I ski and don't use Regenicare that day, I feel a difference. So you use Regenicare. What other products help you out? And what do you use?
Well, the basic extra and aloe, that's a funny story too, because here I was taking Regenicare, and I was actually taking another product too called Prime. That's one of our products. But Kate was going to the refrigerator and downing extra right out of the bottle, right? And then she was like downing the aloe, going, oh, this is so good. And they kept sending it, and I never tried it. And all of a sudden I started trying the extra and the aloe. And we both take that religiously. And it became a foundation for me where I don't need to use Regenicare all the time. I just need to do Regenicare if I work out really hard. And by the way, I can lift more weight now than I've ever been able to lift in my life, okay? And I never get sick anymore. She never gets sick, and our immunity's through the roof. And that's because of aloe and extra. And they basically are a foundation that for us, basically takes care of all the underlying reasons why it was happening to me. And I use Regenicare if I work out really hard and I want, a little extra lubrication. And so.
Interesting. Yeah, I mix a beverage in the morning, and it has aloe and extra in it, and KM. And I painted summer camps on a lake in the Adirondacks of northern New York during my college years. And I used creosote stains. I painted with oil-based paints. I cleaned up with kerosene. I didn't use gloves. I was in the sun all day. I did it all wrong. So I had a bunch of brown spots on the backs of my hands primarily, and on my forearms. Mm-hmm. And they've gone away. They're still barely visible, but they were black. Many of them, not all, many of them were black. And over the course of the last couple of years, they've gone away. I didn't think that was possible.
Amazing.
It's possible. So what do you think your friends and family have noticed? What changes do they talk to you about?
Well, my sister Mary resisted me for about 6 months, 7 months. I was telling her the good news and she resisted me. And so I put on my best German accent and called her and said, "You can no longer resist me. You will get on the product." And so she did. And what she was suffering from was she was wearing a brace, and she was on pain medications every single night, and she was finding it difficult to type and do her work as an accountant. And again, the same excruciating discomfort, and this went on for years. And she basically got on the aloe and the extra. She got on the aloe extra and a few of the other ones, which is called the metabolic makeover. And literally within 5 weeks, my sister Mary threw away her brace, threw away all of her stuff, and she began to function at optimum, and she had absolutely none of the problems she was having. And you know what? She kept taking the products. She loves the products for a whole year. Even when she stopped taking the products, her results have lasted.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
quite a
Wow.
testimonial. Yeah, yeah. Um, I would like, well, Christopher, thank you for that. Did you have a few other parting comments about life in the sweet spot with regenerative nutrition you'd like to wrap your segment with?
Well, I'm going to be 67 really soon, in about a week, June 11th. And I have more energy than I've ever had. I have more vitality. I can push more weights. I can do more. And I really, truly owe it to what has happened in working with this company and taking these products. It's quite astounding.
Yeah, I've had some of those experiences too. When I'm in my ski classes, I'm out the door at 5 in the morning to get to the ski resort. I'm in clinics, the instructor clinics, to keep my ongoing training up to par. And then I'm with the kids until about 3:30 in the afternoon. And the parents look at me and they go, "How do you do this? How do you ski with the kids all day? We can't ski with our kids all day the way you do." And that's an opportunity for me to then begin the education routine of suggesting they learn about regenerative nutrition and the miracle our bodies can be when we take good care of ourselves. Um, it takes some time, it takes some effort, and in the long run, I don't get sick anymore either. I I don't get colds. I used to get 3, 4 colds a year. I don't get colds anymore. And if I do get one, maybe it lasts a day or two. It's a sniffle. It's not one of these week-long things and you feel terrible. So hats off to regenerative nutrition and what Univera does for all of us. And Christopher, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much.
And now I'd like to pass it back to Lori. Lori, you've got some interesting experiences regarding Regenifree. Would you please tell us what Regenifree has done for you?
Absolutely. If you're familiar with that movie, The Incredibles, with the superhero characters, the mother, the wife on that movie, she stretches. She's known as Elastigirl. That's what I felt like when I first began using Regenifree about 6 years ago. And it allows me to recover very quickly so that I can go horseback riding and run a 5K and still go for a walk with my family all in the same day, and then do it again the next day. So it's remarkable. And I feel better now at 55 than I did at 30. I am able to stretch and move. And in the past, I used to bend down to the lowest cupboard in the kitchen and think, okay, what else can I do while I'm down here? Because I was a little bit stiff and I was not as flexible. That has all gone away. So because of the Univera science, looking at the curcumin and isolating that from the turmeric root in the right potency is magical. So try that product if you haven't yet. So we're going to begin winding down towards looking at what Univera has to offer tonight. And the speakers have been amazing, and I've loved the discussion so far. with Univera, you will get free shipping. You have a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you don't get results that you can see, feel, and measure, Univera will back that with integrity, and it doesn't have to affect your relationship as you're sharing it with folks, just like you share a good restaurant or a great movie or a wonderful professional that you've engaged with. So it's an amazing thing. And then this company will support you in your health, period, bottom line. I think you heard that very clearly tonight. So what we want to do is invite you to come back to our next Wellness Wednesday, which will be a conversation between Ann Morrow, who is a retired RN, over 40 years of experience. I know she doesn't look that old, there's no way, but it's true. And she is a certified nutritionist. She's going to be speaking with Eddie Wittry. It's going to be a fabulous discussion, so don't miss that. And then throughout the week, we welcome you to get to know our community and learn more about us through our many events. So on Thursday, we have a Spanish speaking broadcast. And what you'll notice on this slide is all of these events are on the same Zoom ID at the same time. It's very easy to remember, 5:45 Pacific. Sunday will be our CEO and president, Dr. Ralph Beats, and his lovely wife, Ginger, doing a Facebook Live event from their home. It's unprecedented. How many companies and communities have this kind of an event? I can't think of any. And then on Mondays, you can join us for our corporate call, which involves our leadership and mentorship components as well. And then Tuesday will be Let's Talk Univera, where we have a chance to expose everything about Univera to a new person so they can get a very big picture view and then reconnect. And speaking of reconnecting, if you can talk to the person who invited you to this event, you can get invited into our private Facebook groups where you can continue the learning. You can have the events come to your notifications and your feed so that you don't have to miss anything regarding this wonderful organization and our tremendous U-Nation community. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We've enjoyed being with you, and we look forward to seeing you next week on our Wellness Wednesday. Thank you to everybody who provided tech support. Thank you, Don, Dr. Tom, and Christopher. It was a pleasure. We'll see you next week.